Yo, we're gonna react to this real quick, and then we'll probably hop on Rocket League or something like that. Yo, let me change the thing to just chatting. Oh well, let me show you the guy. It's a Maximus. This is the evolution of weapons from rock to nuke. I thought this would be interesting to watch, so I favorited it. So we'll see. It might be boring. If it's bad, then obviously we watch it. But
Alright, so this is the first weapon, probably. It's not a rock, it's a hand axe. Yeah, it's just a rock. Like many very early weapons, we probably use it for hunting and farming, and then someone was like, wait.
Yo, the fact that men, like cavemen, cave women, used to grab a rock off the fucking ground, sharpen it with a different rock, and throw it at fucking mammoths and kill them. How? How? This sounds like Sunless Khan. Yo, I remember that name. I don't know who that is though. I recognize the name. Bro, the fact people used to imagine you put Shabs, yeah? Like a twink guy, give him a rock and a piece of wood, and then put him against an elephant. But I know who's winning out of that fight.
Kill someone with this. Boom! Weapon. I know it's just a rock, but it does look kind of cool. Why are weapons cool? We also
Alfie would feed the whole mammoth's blood.
had sticks.
Alright.
And bones. Anything pointy, really. Then we started attaching rocks to sticks and unlocked spear, axe, and dagger. So we actually had a lot of the basic weapons down pretty early. But these are really primitive. Literally primitive, actually. I mean, you can only throw a spear so far. But if there's one thing humans are good at, it's coming up with better ways to kill each other. This thing added range and power to the spear, and so did the sling for hurling rocks. Skilled slingers were actually quite deadly. The blowgun was probably the first air-powered weapon, and in Australia, and Africa, and India, the boomerang was used as a weapon. Imagine dying to a boomerang, or even worse, imagine dying to your own boomerang. I mean, statistically, that probably happened at least once.
You throw the boomerang, comes right back at you. You just miss your.
In around 3,000.
You just miss the catch. Behead yourself. Why is the Rocket League YouTuber on about rocks and weapons? Bro, it's not Rocket League YouTuber, bro. Oh my god.
1000 BCE, the earliest armies used a new weapon that would give us unprecedented range on the battlefield. The bow. Mesopotamian warriors like the Assyrians had some seriously serious bows, spears, and... is that armor? Yes, in the Bronze Age, we developed armor to protect ourselves from all the weapons we were making. A nice big shield really helped with all the lion attacks. The ancient Egyptians had some really beautiful, ornate shields. The Egyptians deployed chariots, which provided a mobile platform from which to shoot, and generally looked really cool. The axe was their weapon of choice initially, but when they started fighting Middle Eastern peoples, they realized they also needed...
Yo, how did chariot work, bro? Like, bro, imagine a horse is running. How fast the horses run? It's like triple a human, I'm pretty sure, no? Like, bro, that shit's carrying you. It'd be like, you know when you stand up on the bus, yeah? You stand up on the bus, don't hold anything. You gotta, like, balance yourself, don't you? 1 horsepower. Really? It's not speed, buddy. That's power. That's why it's called 1 horsepower. Anyway. Say you're trying to, like, balance on the buzz. Say you gotta get a bow and arrow and you have to hit a target while also trying to balance on the buzz. Bro, how did people not fall off?
A blade capable of penetrating armor, and started incorporating one of the most iconic weapons in human history, the sword.
Ooh.
The ancient Greeks also used a short sword and a very long spear for their famed hoplites in tight shoulder-to-shoulder phalanx formations, with round shields and some truly iconic helmets.
Yeah, we do have the best helmets.
Of course, we can't talk about ancient weaponry without bringing up the Romans. The gladius, the pilum, and the scutum are some of the most recognizable and practical tools of war ever. Not to mention the lorica segmentata and a variety of impressive helmets and standards. Need to break down some walls or impale 6 men at once with a giant arrow? The Romans had a solution. Several, actually. The Franks, Anglo-Saxons, and Vikings all had their own variations of the sword, the shield, the battle axe, and by the 11th and 12th centuries, mail shirts for protection. I feel like it goes without saying, but
what is the Zeus lightning bolt
the
weapon?
Vikings had some very cool helmets, and I'm not talking about these. I'm talking about these. The nasal guard helmet was practical, protected your face, and stylish. Looked cool.
And the dragons, alright. We don't need, bro. Dragons like may have existed. They did not breathe fireball. A dragon-like creature probably existed. Did it breathe fire? No. No way. Okay. Dragons were not used as weapons, bro.
In the Middle Ages, the Japanese created one of the most iconic swords of all time, the katana, and the shorter version, the wakizashi, which was worn at the side when the katana had to be...
What do you mean probably? Are you fucking dumb? Buddy, dinosaurs and all that lizard are dragons. Yeah, not like a dragon. Yeah. Like a dragon that could like fly and was like the size of a skyscraper. Those type of dragons. A Komodo dragon isn't the same thing as a dragon. Okay? You type in dragon, what's the first thing that comes up is a flying dragon. Imagine dragon, okay.
Be removed before entering certain locations. The Chinese had some interesting swords as well, like the Dao, which was actually used by the Mongols, though of course, the Mongols were better known for their horseback mounted mastery of the bow. The bow played a huge role in medieval warfare. In Europe, we saw the rise of the longbow, which the English would become known for. Shooting a longbow required years of experience and immense strength, but it revolutionized warfare because even a small group of archers could loose hundreds of arrows per minute from great distances and basically decimate armies. The crossbow was much easier to use than the longbow, so it took less training and still provided good power. It was perfect for defending castles, but it did have a longer reload time. By the late medieval period, crossbows could shoot 328 yards, or 300 meters. Why does this guy look so sly about it?
How is a wooden arrow piercing through metal? You do realize arrows have a metal tip, right? They have it's a wooden arrow with a metal tip. And it's a metal tip that's, you know, going really fast. You do realize bro, what do you mean shut the fuck up? You didn't know, you said wooden arrow. Are you stupid? You do realize most bow and arrows right now can actually pierce through cars. Like a powerful bow can pierce through a car easily. Well, not the compound Poe. Poe, yeah, it's crazy. Poe's crazy.
The sword evolved into many familiar varieties during this time period, like the hand-and-a-half sword.
My bad.
The dagger was popular as a quick sidearm, self-defense, or maybe sneaky assassination weapon. Remember, it's always faster to switch to your, whatever. Staff weapons were very popular in this period, as the spear remained one of the most effective and easy to use weapons in hand-to-hand combat. But it wasn't just the spear, it was—
Oh yeah, spear was like cheats, bro. Back in the day. Like, now everyone just has guns. Like, there's literally no point. And tanks and fucking missiles. Like, but bro, back in the day, you had a little dagger or a little axe. A guy runs at you with a spear. No, you can't do anything. If the guy misses or you dodge the spear, yeah, speed equals more damage. Well, yeah, because it paces you better. It paces you more easily. Take my milk for gala. Alright, this is not Macbeth. But if you like, say you dodge the spear, unless you're like crazy fast, you're not getting in close. He's just gonna back up and redo another swing at you.
also the bill.
And then, yeah, more spears had side things as well. So even if they missed, they could just swing it and it'd still pace you.
Axe, the halberd, the lance, and the bardiche. We had a lot of staff weapons. In Asia, we got the naginata and the santi, an Indian spear that had a convenient guard in the middle to allow for safe pokey-pokey. Make the staff handle a little shorter and you get another host of scary weapons. The warhammer could cave in helmets and break bones behind thick plate armor. The flanged mace, the morning star, and the flail are classic and sinister looking medieval weapons. Meanwhile, the Aztecs were perfecting their own form of deadly warfare. They had the macohito, a club with embedded blades made of obsidian. These things could decapitate a horse. They also had stone flake throwing spears and some very stunning shields. Back in Europe, heavily armored knights dominated and wore a variety of legendary helmets, like the hound skull bassinet, the great helm, or the frog-mouthed helm for jousting. However, the heavy armor and thick castle walls of the medieval period would soon become obsolete. Gunpowder had arrived to the evolution of weapons.
Where's the musket? Where's the musket?
The Chinese had been using gunpowder for a while, in fire lances, early rockets, and primitive hand cannons. But now, the knowledge of gunpowder had spread to Europe, thanks to the Mongols. The arquebus was an early firearm used from the 15th to 17th centuries. Then came the wheel-lock mechanism, which made for a better musket, followed by the flintlock, which made for an even better musket, if you think double the rate of fire is better. When gunpowder weapons were just starting to be used, there was a period where we made armor thicker for a bit, and then gave up. This is a pretty interesting era called pike and shot, where you had units that mixed traditional hand weapons, like pikes, with the new gunpowder weapons, and they were actually really effective. As metalworking improved, we were able to make some really big guns like bombards, serpentines, and culverins, and some really interesting ones like the ribolt, or organ gun.
Yo, I thought a cannon was just called a cannon. I didn't think there was multiple versions. Oh, I muted by accident.
Fine, I'll play my 8th playthrough of Medieval 2 Total War. You convince me.
No one's playing this.
But despite these advancements, we still use swords. This large two-handed sword was used by the famous Lancelet mercenary.
Yo, that's aura. Oh, he is sunless. What do you mean he is sunless? It's Maximus. I did not expect that voice when I clicked on the video. Is this actually sunless or just same voice? Oh, it is. Apparently it is. Oh well.
To counter the popular pikes
I don't know
of
who
the
that
day.
guy is.
In Scotland, we got the claymore, or greatsword, a truly colossal and impressive weapon. And though these larger swords could be a bit cumbersome, they did have other uses too. By now we had all kinds of swords actually. Cavalry swords, basket-hilted swords, hunting swords, small swords, and rapiers. We love swords. We even came up with the sword
Rapiers
that
are
countered the
horrible.
sword. The sword
They're like
breaker.
the fencing ones.
That's pretty cool looking. India gave us the Ayudhakati, which had an
That's, yeah. I know you're gonna say, what you're gonna say about that.
almost comically thick blade. Also from the east came the curved shamshir, also known as the scimitar.
Why do we make it curved?
Another really interesting sword is the kora, which was used by warriors and Gurkhas in Nepal. Daggers were still popular.
Yo, was there like a reason of them making it curved? Or did we just think, you know what, I'm gonna make it curved? Was it like a durability thing? saying like it couldn't be like blocked as easily or something like that. Let me search it up. I think they were exploring the options because it was still new. Maybe. Also, we can still do Rocket League. I didn't know how long you're gonna be. Castle will be back in a minute as well. Was there a reason why people curved swords? Because the shape vastly improved slicing power, worked better on horseback, and made the blade stronger. Less stress. Yeah, so it's about durability, and apparently it makes it cut better. Yo, fatty. Okay, for that kid.
There
Cass
as
is hard. I
well,
know Cass is hard at Rocket League.
with
Doesn't matter.
variations such as the stiletto or assassin's dagger. I told you they were useful
Yo, Harley, you should low-key like find a horror game on Roblox and we can play that in a
for
minute.
assassinations. This dagger from India is crazy.
Yo, these are the aura daggers. Where you just like
The
punch them.
Qatar is designed to allow the stabber to punch into the opponent.
You thrust it into your opponent's belly like that, you see. 15th century.
Holy shit, that would like... Yo, that would fuck you up.
Smart little buggers back then, weren't they?
Meanwhile, firearms were getting much better.
I mean, it wouldn't really matter. If someone has a musket to your face and there's a 20 foot gap, you're just dead. Trust me, Alfie, I've already played that. It's arse. It's a backrooms, like, slop game. Anything backrooms is arse. Assassin's Creed well, muskets had bad aim.
Better flintlock systems made guns even more deadly, giving birth to the legendary
And takes time to reload. Yeah, but, bro, if you did them, it's 20 feet, bro. Bro, you could hit you could also just wait until you got close. If he only has a melee weapon, you don't have to waste your shot. Where's the pump shotgun,
Brown
bro?
Bess musket
The pump shotgun's probably like about 2 more minutes into
of
the
the
video.
early 18th century. This weapon was so ubiquitous, the British Redcoats used the phrase "married to Brown Bess" as a shorthand for military service. Then we made little guns, also known as pistols, so now we could duel with
Flintlocks.
dueling pistols.
What about
We
revolvers?
loved guns so much that we tried to put them on our swords. Actually, we put them on everything. But I'm gonna take a wild guess
Warhammer gun. That's aura. Imagine someone runs at you with this. That's peak.
and say that these did not work very well. But the guns in the next
And then we started putting melee weapons onto the guns instead.
period of history
Bayonets,
would work
what?
just fine. Throughout the 18th century, field artillery started to shift the evolution of weapons yet again. And that would be especially true during the Napoleonic Wars, when one brilliant general expanded and perfected its use. It's no coincidence, Napoleon was trained as an artilleryman. We had many kinds of field guns, howitzers, and mortars at our disposal. In the revolutionary world, we still use swords. I'm telling you, we love swords. Now for infantry, swords have been effectively replaced by the musket, but cavalry soldiers still use them. The sword was a status symbol and could be ceremonial as well. The Ottomans had some incredible swords, like the Kalij or the Yatagan.
Now the thing is, yeah, I think a sword is so much cooler than a gun. If say you went to war now and they give you an AK-47, they give you an option of like a claymore like greatsword or like, you know, like a pistol. You know, got a game, cool. Give us like 4 minutes. Once this is done. But I'm picking the sword. I don't care if I die, bro. The sword is so much more
The
cooler.
bayonet was used heavily during this period.
Bayonet's amazing.
Turns out putting our swords on our guns was a good idea. The Nepalese kukri has an interesting forward curved blade and
Yeah,
remains
I'll dive
popular
all
to this
facts.
day among collectors and enthusiasts.
Pull big. Who joined my call, bro? I hate my stream.
No, I came back. I came back.
Okay. We're about to hop on Roblox in 4 minutes, so I don't think, yeah.
Yeah.
Put some gasoline, yeah, on the sword. I'm gonna mute up as well. Put some gasoline on the sword. Put it ablaze, and just aura walk out, bro.
Now, interestingly, we still have some people using ancient weapons at this time, like the Zulu,
And get
who
one-tapped.
employed a
Yeah,
short
but it's
stabbing
fine. You
spear
got
and
aura.
actually won some battles against the British Empire. Eventually, though, modern firepower would win out.
Little quick
This
scopes,
old
yeah.
world versus new world was a recurring theme, as we saw Native American tribes fighting with tomahawks, clubs, and of course, the bow. Some from mounted positions, much like the steppe people from an earlier age. Meanwhile, firearms were getting even better. We developed the percussion cap, and eventually, the revolver.
The Wild
was a
West
big one.
revolver.
Being able to fire multiple shots in quick succession without reloading greatly improved effective firepower. But that was just the beginning. Rifling in the barrels of muskets gave us more
Added to
range
the
and
enemy's kill
accuracy,
streak,
which we
alright.
saw in the deadly American Civil War. The expanding bullet took advantage of the rifled barrels and doubled the effective range of firearms. The Enfield rifle musket was effective beyond its cited range of 820 meters. Repeaters, self-loading pistols, and breech loaders improved the rate of fire even more. The Prussians used the Drace needle gun, a breech-loading rifle, to beat the Austrians who still used
Yo, it's like a hunting rifle. It's got the little ball thing. Like, it's like a
muzzle
sniper
loaders
rifle.
in Konigratz in 1866. We even had breech-loading cannons by now. With the flood of advancing
We were still using cannons. What the
technology, one of the greatest weapons of war became industrialization, the mass production of arms, and the logistics of supply and distribution. Yes, I know that's not really a weapon. In 1884, a new gun was
There we
created
go.
that would signal the end of another age of weaponry. The Maxim machine gun.
fuck? That's better than a cannon.
With the outbreak of the Great War in 1914, new weapons were invented to break the stalemate that had developed from the testing of the new weapons. Mechanized weapons of war in the air,
So
the
World War
sea,
I
and
and
the
World War
land
II.
appeared. Better machine guns, better artillery, deadly gas, grenades, and flamethrowers were all used in World War I. In the Second World War, infantry soldiers played a reduced role as new machines roared to the front lines.
Yo, what happened if you got hit with deadly gas? Did it like make you like deathly ill, or did it just like, you know, knock you out and then cut all the oxygen? Did it just like make you like lungs stop or some shit like that? Or did it make you like, it would burn a lot? So it's like, yeah, I get what you mean.
By
It
this
would burn,
point,
it would burn all like your lungs and shit.
we had developed a ridiculous variety of guns. Self-loading pistols became popular, along with shotguns and an array of rifles, manually loaded like the Mauser Kar
There's
98,
pumps.
or self-loading like the M1
There's no
Garand.
pump shotgun. That's
The
normal shotgun.
Sturmgewehr 44 was a German rifle that had a 30-round detachable magazine and led the way for the automatic weaponry of the future. We had sniper rifles, light machine guns, and submachine guns, like the Thompson, which I discovered was known
Very
as
good.
the Chicago typewriter. Of course, we also wanted to blow things up. And for
Chicago
that, we had
typewriter.
rocket launchers like the M1A1 bazooka.
What about
We had to
tanks?
come up with some better helmets to protect ourselves from all the better guns. And in World War I, it led to designs such as the classic British Brodie helmet. The Germans still used their spiked pickelhaube helmets in the Great War.
That's
This was a
our
design
helmet.
going back to the 19th century. But in 1916, they moved to the Stahlhelm. In World War II, the Americans used this helmet, which they called the M1. Creative. And guess what? We still used swords. Well, at this point, they were almost all ceremonial, unless you count the bayonet as a sword, because we still use those. At the close of World War II, all the weapons of the past were dwarfed by the destructive power of the nuclear bomb. And that brings us to an end of this video on the evolution of weapons from rock to nuke. Oh, I forgot to mention the pistol shield. It was a pistol in a shield.
Holy aura, okay. So we didn't show up a nuke. We didn't show up missiles. What are missiles? He missed like so much. There's missiles, there's a nuke, obviously, that's the N1. But you know, there's tanks, there's fighter jets. Are they not counted as weapons? The curse. Bro, I was playing the curse. Right, we're gonna